Welcome back. You're still watching Guardians of Gaia with myself, Megan Edwards, and tonight we're unpacking animal abuse and adoption. In a bit, we talk to Joanne Lefson from the Oscar Ark WOOF project, a pop-up doggy adoption initiative. The beautiful thing about this particular initiative is that it primarily focuses on the adoption of dogs, as Cape Town is host to more than 230,000 stray dogs, according to IOL. Before that, though, let's get into some stray dog stats as we head into Climate Count.
Dog adoption has been slow on the uptake in South Africa, with statistics currently sitting at an adoption rate of only 12%. This means that out of the approximately 25,000 dogs that enter the 8 primary kill shelters in the Western Cape, only 2,500 get out alive. The good news is that Oscar's Ark has an adoption rate of 97.2% and has single-handedly increased the overall adoption rate in the Western Cape to 31%. Adopt, don't shop. The simple phrase relieves thousands of animals of suffering and pain. The idea is to adopt animals that were once homeless.
So my name is Joanne Lefson and I'm the founder director of Oscar's Ark. I've always had a passion for animals, animal welfare, the plight of vulnerable animals in today's society. And yeah, just growing up with an adopted dog by my side my entire life, and then finally created Oscar's Ark in 2017 as a dynamic marketing platform for shelter dogs, in a way that we can take these dogs out of existing shelters and present them in a real positive light to the people in the public domain so that they can be seen and ultimately adopted and their lives, of course, saved. Because we have many shelters in the Western Cape, in the country, actually worldwide, that are so overcrowded. And many of these dogs have to be, unfortunately, euthanized because there is no home for them. WOOF Project Oscar's Ark takes these dogs from these shelters and through a positive environment gets these dogs adopted. Oscar's Ark is all about inspiring dog adoption. We take dogs out of existing shelters and we bring them to the people, and we inspire people to see how amazing these dogs are so that they can be adopted and ultimately, have an amazing forever home.
More and more people have warmed up to the idea of adoption.
Well, actually, we started very small, as most organizations do. The original concept was to have the world's most inspiring dog adoption center in Franschhoek, which is a very beautiful place in the Western Cape. And the reason for Franschhoek was I wanted to change the perception of shelters, because people always have this perception that they're depressing, overcrowded, difficult to find. Often they think that there's so many dogs, it's not very easy to actually handle it when you actually go to one. So the idea with Franschhoek was to be an inspired farm environment that people would love to come to in order to see these dogs. And as part of a marketing campaign to make people be aware of this adoption center that was going to be opening in Franschhoek, I decided to convert a container that I could pop in and around Cape Town, where we would also showcase dogs in order to promote the adoption center that was coming in Franschhoek. And on the first day, it was amazing. We put this container along the Sea Point Promenade, and we had something like 9 or 10 adoptions just on the Saturday. And to put that in perspective, most shelters would have 1 or 2 adoptions a week. So it was like, wow, that's an amazing figure. And this is actually what we have to do. We don't need another shelter in Franschhoek or anywhere else for that matter. What we need to do is find a way to get dogs out of existing shelters into the public domain where these dogs can be seen and adopted. And it's grown from strength to strength. We now pop up in and around Cape Town every single weekend. We also have a city adoption center that is open between Monday and Friday. So Franschhoek is no more. So it just makes a very easy and positive and convenient place for people to come and adopt a dog. And we do on average now 20 adoptions a weekend. We have amazing sponsors. We've got a fantastic young team. We've got amazing volunteer signups, and it's just a really positive community effort.
Cape Town has too many dogs and not enough homes. But the good news is that if everyone adopted and spayed their animals, this could be turned around.
with education and some proactive involvement in this process, we can really turn it around. But it needs a lot of focus, it needs some marketing, it needs a really proactive approach. It also needs a bit of government to come in and step in and make sterilization of pets mandatory, which would definitely help the situation as well. So yeah, it's not a very positive situation, but there is a solution. And I think all of us in animal welfare are working very hard towards trying to create, a much better environment where these dogs are all sterilized, and so shelters aren't, crowded and have to deal with the consequences of it. Why should people adopt and not shop? Such an easy answer. We have such amazing, incredible dogs sitting at shelters in the Western Cape, and these dogs are not damaged goods. These dogs that are up for adoption would make fantastic pets. There's fluffy dogs, there's big dogs, small dogs, pure breed dogs. 1 in every 4 dogs sitting at a shelter is a pure breed dog. So we have a lot of variety in shelters of amazing dogs. It makes absolutely no sense to, I'm going to say it, support a breeder that is producing more and more dogs into the world and supporting that when we have these amazing dogs that already exist, that are already here sitting at shelters. And the other thing to say is that every time a family or someone buys a dog from a breeder, there's a dog that is actually silenced at a shelter, because that home could have been taken by that shelter dog whose life depends on getting a home, right? So the point is that until we have all these dogs sitting in shelters into homes, and again, amazing dogs, okay, there's no point to bring more dogs into the world and to support people that do that. Doesn't make any sense at all.
So many amazing dogs are up for adoption, and shelter dogs' lives depend on finding homes.
We head into an ad break now, and when we come back, we continue the conversation with Joanne Lefson from the Oscar Ark WOOF project. Stay with us.